As we talk about a lot here on this channel, there's not really much going on in terms of new MMOs this year, or pretty much any year for the past several years to be specific. There are a few new ones coming out in 2021, like it's looking pretty likely that New World will finally get released. We might be seeing the launch of Core Punk, I'm not certain about that though. And I guess there's this game Albion, if you care to try it. Definitely not holding my breath on that one. And of course Burning Crusade Classic, but that's not exactly new. The character transfers that are paid for and the mounts in the shop are new, but that's a topic for another video. So yeah, in terms of new MMOs, kind of not too much going on this year. What does that leave us fans of the genre with? Well, there's all the existing games. Like, what's going on with those? Good news is actually quite a lot. Pretty much every major MMO on the market has updates or expansions planned for this year. So whether or not you're coming back to these games or wanting to try them for the very first time, there is new stuff to look forward to. And that's what I'm going to go over here in this video. I'll be covering every major update for all of the big MMOs on the market, everything that's scheduled to release this year. Of course, it's still early in the year, so things could change, things could get added, but this is what we know of so far. Before we get into that though, wouldn't be a YouTube video without a word from today's sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by Ragnarok Labyrinth. This is a free-to-play, fast-moving RPG where you can navigate dangerous dungeons, fend off threatening monsters, and engage in real-time PvP. The game features plenty of customization with a variety of upgrade systems from gear to cards and skills. There are 4 jobs to choose from: the Archer, Magician, Swordsman, and Thief. Various battle modes and dungeons available. You can fight off monsters with your friends out in the field, or explore labyrinths and conquer raid bosses. There's also various PvP modes through brawls, duels, and leagues. There's a wide variety of places to see and monsters to fight, a share system for you to play with friends, and a crisp and unique art style. If you're interested in checking out Ragnarok Labyrinth, go ahead and use the link in the video description below. All right, so let's get things started with the big behemoth of the market, and that is of course the World of Warcraft. The Shadowlands expansion launched last November and it's been chugging along, which is a nice way of saying everyone I know has stopped playing. Now fortunately, last month at BlizzCon we did get a sneak peek at some of the new content that is planned for 2021, and this is coming through patch 9.1, the Chains of Domination. This will be adding a new area to the Maw called Korthia, the City of Secrets. This will be an extension of the Maw, adding on to the existing map that's already there, and will be filled with strange new creatures, mysteries. There'll be rewards to collect like the Spectral Steed and the Severed Hand mounts. They're also going to be unlocking the ability for players to use any of their mounts in the Maw. One of the biggest complaints about the Maw is just how slow everything is, especially for classes without movement abilities. A new raid will be coming with 9.1, the Sanctum of Domination. This will be a 10 boss raid where we encounter the Eye of the Jailer, square off against Kel'Thuzad. Again, how many times do we fight this dude? And come face to face with the Banshee Queen. They're adding a new mega dungeon called Tazavesh, the Veiled Market. This is an 8-boss dungeon that comes with hard modes and will be split into 2 dungeons with heroic difficulty in patch 9.2. There's going to be some new Torghast content that will be adding new layers and a new wing. They're also replacing the death counter mechanic with a score, so this is going to mean no more failing of runs. And one of the big things here is Shadowlands Pathfinder, so they're going to be unlocking flying. This time around though, there is no reputation grind completing your Covenant campaign. That is the only requirement to get flying in the Shadowlands. Shadowlands is kind of a weird expansion to have flying in though, since every zone is completely like sequestered. I'm guessing you can't fly from one zone island directly to another. You'll just be able to fly within the zones. It's actually part of the reasons why I don't love like the layout of this expansion. It's just it's like these 5 separate islands. It's not like a cohesive. I know BFA got shit on, but I kind of liked those 2 massive islands. Thematically, whatever. BFA sucked, right? There's gonna be new Covenant cosmetic armor sets. They will be unveiling Shadowlands Season 2. This will come with new Domination-themed affix for Mythic dungeons, as well as a PvP honor talent rework and some new seasonal rewards. And when is all of this happening? Well, there is no release date as of yet for patch 9.1, but it was actually supposed to have apparently been live sometime around now, but nothing. We really don't know what to expect at this point, so we'll just kind of have to wait and see. It should be be happening soon, though. That's the assumption. And obviously in this section, I should mention the Burning Crusade Classic. That's going to be happening. This is an updated release of World of Warcraft's 2007 expansion. Now, things are going to be mostly the same content-wise. There's a raise level cap to 70 for our classic characters, the new continent of Outlands, Blood Elves and Draenei in the game, the new profession jewel crafting. This is when flying mounts were first introduced. There's new 5-player dungeons, as well as several 25-player raids, the introduction of arenas and a PvP resilience gear. And there's a handful of new stuff coming, like paid character boost and store mounts, apparently. That's just, wow. I don't know if I'm going to make a dedicated video to it, but lots of people are talking about it and mostly not happy. Now, actually the beta is happening right now. It's fairly small in scale or scope, but there's not a lot of people in the beta at the moment. They will be inviting more over time. And since the beta is currently active, we actually expect that Burning Crusade Classic should be launching like in the next 2 or 3 months. It should be sometime pretty soon. So if you want to go back to Outlands, that will be happening in the not too distant future. Okay, so now let's move on to the next game, and that is going to be the Elder Scrolls Online. We're going to be talking about the Gates of Oblivion. That is the name for this year of updates, and that includes a few small DLC packs and then the major chapter update. So the first DLC pack has actually already launched. This was called the Flames of Ambition. It introduced 2 brand new dungeons, the Cauldron and the Black Drake Villa. With those dungeons, there are new item sets, achievements, and honors that you can unlock, but that's just a DLC pack, fairly small. The big thing is with the chapter, and this was called the Blackwood chapter. It is the major honking update for the year, and that is set to launch this June. It's going to be adding the brand new zone of Blackwood. We're going to get to explore the mysterious region from the walls of the imperial city of Leowyn to the murky bogs of Shadowfen. There will be with this, of course, a new main story questline to follow where we uncover this Daedric plot. There's this new companion system coming to the game. We can unlock these unique characters that will fight alongside us, keep us company, and tell us stories as we grow our friendship. How sweet, wonderful. There's a new 12-player trial, the Rock Grove, where we have to retake this village from this Daedric worshipping Argonians. The new world event system of Oblivion portals. These will be scattered throughout the region of Blackwood. We will have to enter these portals, fight our way to their heart, and destroy them. With all of this new zone, there will be new delves and new public dungeons, new world bosses. Some of my actual favorite stuff in ESO. I love going into their little delves and checking out like all the nooks and crannies of these things. 6 new gear sets for you to collect. There'll be new items and collectibles, and there's also various quality of life updates and improvements coming with the game as well. Now, as I mentioned, the first DLC with those 2 dungeons is already out, and the Blackwood chapter will be launching in June, and then after that chapter, there will be 2 additional smaller DLCs coming out in quarters 3 and quarter 4 of this year. Genuinely, besides revisiting WoW for 9.1, I'm definitely, I think, going back to ESO this year. I actually want to go back to all of these games this year. I'll talk about it a little later, but ESO has always held a special place in my heart. I know the game gets dumped on, specifically its combat system, and yeah, it's not my favorite MMO combat system, but it's not the most awful thing, and I think the thing that I've always loved about ESO is exploring its world. Like, as someone who played Morrowind and Oblivion and of course Skyrim, exploring this huge cohesive fantasy world that they deliver, I think ESO does a phenomenal job, at least on that front. There's still some issues with the game, but hey, you know what? There's issues with that. Nobody's perfect. All right, moving on, the next game we're going to talk about is Final Fantasy XIV. The next big expansion for this game is Endwalker, and that will be coming at some point in the fall of 2021. It will include a raise to the level cap from level 80 to 90. There is a new healer job called the Sage. This is a shield-based healer who uses weapons that fire off energy blast while also shielding your allies. This job will be available at level 70. There's also a second new melee DPS job, although it hasn't been specified any of the details. Nothing's been revealed, but the speculation around this is that it could be a scythe-wielding class or maybe even a necromancer. There'll be some new areas to explore in Thavnair, Rads at Hun, Garlamad, and I don't know anything. I want to learn more about Final Fantasy, I promise. But yeah, some new areas to explore. There's multiple new dungeons, as well as a new raid tier to explore. There will be a stat squish, making all of the numbers in the game smaller. There's some sort of island sanctuary system coming to the game where you can tend to animals and land. They said they're removing belts from the game because, I quote, they serve no aesthetic purpose, which is about the most most Final Fantasy-ass Final Fantasy thing that I've ever heard. Players are now going to be able to travel to other data centers so that you can play with your friends. Now again, Endwalker is scheduled to release in the fall of 2021, and we are actually expecting some more information about this expansion to be coming through in May. So pretty soon we'll be getting some more details about this. 2021 has to be the year that I finally give 14 a shot. It's just so daunting because I know there's like some 200 or 300 hours of like story content that I have to go through to get like current with the game. It's just it's freaking so much, but that's part of what people love about it, right? This is the MMO for fans of stories and fans of Final Fantasy, obviously. Yes. Okay. Next game is Black Desert Online. They've released their 2021 roadmap, and there's quite a bit in here. They will be revamping the Node War system to focus on turning this into a form of warfare where adventurers expand their territories by conquering and protecting nodes. There's the 10 vs 10 crew system, which is a new form of arena PvP. The Black Star Raid, which is a new world boss that's going to be dropping materials needed to improve Black Star gear. There's the brand new region of the Mountain of Eternal Winter. This sounds wicked cool to me. So this is the home of the Guardian class, and this is an area that is perpetually stuck in winter, and with it will be the storm mechanic where these snowstorms will come in that will require adventurers to light a fire or seek shelter from the cold, otherwise they will freeze to death. I love when games do this shit. I know it's kind of a pain, but it helps with the immersion. I think it's pretty cool. BDO does so much cool stuff. It's too bad it also does a lot of junky stuff. Here's another thing, this hardcore hunting ground. It's called the Terror of the Sea. So this is a solo, basically dungeon delving system that you'll go through, you'll fight monsters. The more monsters you kill, the harder it gets. Enemies will hit harder. You'll be targeted by these random bombardments. There will be elite monsters that spawn. Now, as you go through and progress and make it harder, the loot that drops gets better and better. Now, you can leave whenever you like, and when you do, you will take all of the loot you've gotten up to that point, or you can try to push further to get better rewards. However, if you die at any point when you're in this hardcore hunting ground, it's going to cut your rewards in half. There is a new residence that players can unlock called the Mansions. It's just a mansion, big location. There's the new co-op dungeon of Ataraxion. There's a new continent planned called the Land of the Dawn, this Eastern Korean-inspired zone. There are, of course, new classes coming to the game. Most recently, they revealed the Sage. A couple months prior to that, we had the release of the Nova class, and these updates are going to be happening throughout the course of the year. I didn't see like one specific patch attributed to all this stuff. I think it's just things that will be rolling out throughout 2021. Gotta hand it to them. Black Desert Online does a great job of like releasing new stuff. I feel like there's constantly a new class coming to this game. Maybe it's because they have so many whales spending like hundreds of thousands of dollars, but anyways, Black Desert Online 2021 roadmap, there you go. And the final big MMO that we're going to talk about its updates is Guild Wars 2. So far this year, there have been 2 updates through the Icebrood Saga chapters 2 and 3. These are actually part of the game's 5th Living World season. Both of these chapters brought with them new missions, new upgrades, and faction rewards, as well as a continuation of the game's story. And then the big thing happening this year with Guild Wars 2 is the End of Dragons. This is the 3rd expansion for the game, and that's all we know. I don't even have bullet points. I mean, you know, new stuff, new areas, new enemies, you know what to expect, right? But yeah, there's a brand new 3rd expansion coming to Guild Wars 2. It's planned for 2021. They haven't talked about it at all since they revealed it a few months ago, and we don't really know what to expect. I think one almost sad thing with this, though, is that a lot of people are expecting that this is going to be the last Guild Wars 2 expansion. Then after this, it's kind of going to go on a like life support mode. I feel bad for Guild Wars 2. There's something very interesting for me about that game, but it's also one of the MMOs that I've spent the least amount of time with. When it launched, was really exciting. I remember having a lot of fun with that first launch week, but I've barely touched it since. I've gone back 1 or 2 times for a week at a time, but yeah, Guild Wars, I don't know what happened with Guild Wars 2. I really thought I was going to play more. I think I played way more Guild Wars 1 than I did Guild Wars 2, but that's what's going on with that game. I want to quickly touch on a few of the other MMOs that some of you might be playing as well. Star Wars The Old Republic is actually getting a decent sized update, 6.3, called The Dark Descent. This will be adding a brand new flashpoint, which comes with a new story. There will be the season 14 of ranked PvP in the game, and this new system they're calling Galactic Seasons, where you can earn rewards by completing daily and weekly objectives. So it's just like, they said it's an extension of their login bonus system, if that gives you any idea of what to expect from this. Albion Online, that's a fairly popular one. This is going to be getting some changes to the faction war system. There will be some improvements to 2 of the Hellgates in the game. They're also introducing loadouts and various other improvements and quality of life changes for Albion. Old school RuneScape, more content for every aspect of the game is expected. They'll be adding more PVM, PvP, more skilling, more bossing options. I know absolutely nothing about old school RuneScape at all, so I'm gonna claim ignorance here, but there is more stuff as far as my research showed me. And then I want to mention as well PSO2 New Genesis, because this is kind of an update to an old game, you know? This is an updated version and like a revitalized version. It's going to feature larger environments to explore. There's going to be a total graphics overhaul as well as a brand new character creation engine. I'm so intrigued by this thing. I had the sponsorship I did for PSO2 a few months ago, and I was like, hey, you know what? That was actually kind of fun. So I'm really interested in checking out PSO2 New Genesis. I hope this, I don't know, this could be a cool new thing, especially since I really didn't experience PSO2 when it originally launched. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's a look at most of the updates planned for all of the major MMOs out there. Obviously, more reveals could still be happening. It's the end of March as I'm recording this video, so we could and most likely will see new things for many of these games. Honestly, from what I've talked about here, there's a lot of this that I would like to check out this year myself personally. Typically in a year, I cycle between 2, maybe 3 MMOs, playing them for a couple months at a time, but I think it would be kind of cool if I could keep up with just about everything, like at least the 5 big ones. I don't know how realistic it is to like cycle between all of the big MMOs every single year. Time is obviously the biggest obstacle in that situation, but there's some new cool stuff coming. Clearly the brand new things that are happening, I'm really looking forward to. I hope New World ends up panning out. I'm super keen to learn more about Core Punk as well, and I'll probably play a bit of BC Classic. I'm less excited for BC Classic than I expected I would be. I was really hyped for the launch of Classic WoW in 2019, but BC Classic I'm just kind of meh about, and I don't know why, because I loved Burning Crusade back in 2007, right? Like I played the shit out of that, but something, it's just not clicking as much. That's not doing it. I don't know. Anyways, that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one, all right? Take it easy.